Hello and welcome back to Loopholes and Lockouts, everybody. Not that you know, but we've got a new setup we're trialing today, so just hopefully no more camera cutouts or any sort of logos you see. Just flip onto your page in the middle of the podcast. But yeah, how you feeling, boys? Loopholes and Lockouts, keen to get this one done.
Spectacular.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty.
It's a weird
up
week.
and about this week. Yeah, it's pretty weird. Not that many great trades, but I have to make 4 teaser.
Spoiler.
So yeah, that'll be fun. But yeah, so the main segment for today is basically we're just going to go through some Origin stuff and basically see which guys are going to be keepers in our teams for like kind of post-Origin, I mean to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just going to go through and have a little topical sort of debate and chat about where we stand on certain players opinion-wise and if they're going to be in our final 20 or not. But yeah, other than that, business as usual.
Yes.
Team lists, Physio Files, all trades. So yeah, obviously trades and skippers, but
Panic buys and sells.
Panic buys and sells.
Yeah, we'll work that out.
Sweet.
Work that out.
Awesome. All right, let's rip into the first team list then, eh?
Fantastic. Thursday night, Raiders versus the Dolphins. Obviously, there's quite a few changes around the place with Origin happening. Ethan Strange has dropped out for Dane Laurie. Xavier Savage is back onto the wing. Corey Horsburgh starts in the front row. Edges for the Raiders of Atamirata and Zach Hosking, and Jaden Braley keeps that spot at 13, which is interesting. For the Dolphins, David Nafahu comes onto the wing for Selwyn Cobbo. Trey Fuller in at fullback for the Hammer. Cody Nikarima, I believe, is injured.
Yes.
So Brad Schneider comes in. And then this looks like basically the same forward pack, apart from Francis Molo, who's starting in place of Tom Flegler. What a call-up for Tommy Flegler. Gilbert's starting on the bench.
Yeah, I was going to say, is Gilbert still on the bench?
Felice Kafusi and Molo starting in the front row and Gilbert on the bench. It's rather interesting to me.
For me, I'm thinking if there's a little ongoing injury or something that, like, if they suddenly flipped off him and moved him to the bench, I wonder if there's reasoning behind it.
Maybe.
But yeah, I guess food for thought on that one. There's no actual right answer there until the Dolphins clarify themselves, I'm sure.
Yeah, real big talking points from this game, I think, is both number 12s, Zach Hosking and Finifuyaki will probably be two of the more popular traded in plays this week, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Obviously, Zach Hosking returning from his HIA, looks set for a big minute role on the edge, and Finifuyaki released from the Maroons to play in this game, and he'll return as 20th man on Wednesday night. Both looking like good buys, boys?
I'm very keen on both, but I do think just keep an eye on the Finifuyaki trade. It's Origin time. You never know. There could be a late switch, and he might get recalled into the 19th. So just keep an eye. I'm not saying he will. I haven't heard any mail that anyone's injured, but obviously being 20th man for Origin, just keep a half an eye before kickoff time tonight.
Yeah. Well, you imagine he'd be in Canberra by now, ready to play.
Yeah, true.
But it's still a valid point for the future games. He could easily come into that side in the 19 or even starting.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything else there?
No. Just the only pro for Hosking is he's a fair bit cheaper, 480k as opposed to like 6,
like 200k cheap, almost
like
200k cheaper.
Yeah, so I'll be having a good look at Hosking. I did look at Finifuyaki, but yeah, I think just the chance that he might play Origin in those later games.
Valid. Bulldogs versus Storm, 8 p.m. at Accor Stadium. Jacob Kirais comes back into the side after his whatever injury. Ben will get to it later. That's not my job. Jonathan Sewer manages
It's a knee injury.
Cool, fantastic. Jonathan Sewer keeps his spot on the wing. Bulldogs backline's the same. And obviously Preston didn't get selected for Origin, so he keeps his spot on the edge. So that'll be a good number this week for those who own him. For Melbourne, Keegan Russell-Smith comes in at 5'8" for Cam Munster. Trent Talau starts at hooker, plays for Harry Grant. What a call up. Trent Liero obviously picked for the Maroons, so Cooper Clark has come into starting lock spot. Cooper Clark would have been a great little pickup if people had done it. Around that time, Sangster said he was going to do it and didn't do it.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's pretty much all the changes. Old Joe Chan still on the bench. Doesn't it feel like about 10 years ago when like Joe Chan, Arama Howe, the greatest things on planet Earth, and they're now glued to the bench.
Oh, yeah. How far we've come, hey?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think the biggest story about this week is Sua Falongo looking like the firm best captaincy option, basically going around.
I completely agree. I think without Cam Munster there, he's going to have to do basically everything on that left edge. And it's his preferred sweeping side from what I've seen. So I think it could be Raps. I mean, if you don't have put at least the VC or captain on him this week, then I think you're pretty stupid. And obviously, with players floating around that you don't have, like obviously you can still reserve 18 players. No one's going to have 18 players for the buy, so you can just easily take a VC loot for free this week. So make sure you're landing a VC and a captain option for this week.
Yeah. My only fear with Sewer would be he hasn't gone over 80 in the last 4 weeks, which feels a little bit wild. But he has kept his streak of getting a major attacking stat in every single game, which is pretty impressive, to be honest.
Yeah.
Any Sewer thoughts?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at the VC as well. I just think it's a no-brainer, to be honest. Bulldogs are going terribly, especially in defense, but attack as well. Now that I say it, but I think completely Ben's hit the nail on the head. Without Munster, Sewer's just going to have to get more early ball and just take more responsibility. Yeah, I'm keen.
Sounds good. Alrighty, 5:30 on Saturday. Dragons versus the Warriors. Jaden Sewer returns to the side from his suspension in the centres. Clearly, they've got not a single outside back ready to go at the club. He seemed pretty happy to go Gutherson centre, Sloan fullback. Dips away from that pretty quickly. So
interested as well. Hayden Buchanan in the reserve lifts, known centre. But they've gone Jaden Sewer over him. So interesting choice.
Maybe they just wanted to get him back playing, or I don't know.
I mean, they do now have a plethora of edges.
They
love playing Hamish Stewart there, which is great. I don't really know why, but maybe it's a push to get Ryan Catchment to start. Obviously, Luch comes on for him. I don't think they can burn 2 interchanges on second rower, so maybe it's just a way to get him in the team for now.
Maybe. Anyway, rest of the Dragons' backline looks the same. Forward pack. Pacific Tonga didn't start last week, did he? Who was starting at that?
He did.
He did start last week?
Yep.
Maybe I'm thinking of Emre Gul has been doing it a little bit. Or Harm Sally, but he's not even in the side at all. He's in the reserves. Dragon side, otherwise same as last week. Warriors looks like the same kind of back line with Tamari Martin keeping that number 7 jersey. Jackson Ford returns to the starting side, obviously with Barnett dropping out. And that's basically it. Lots of relevant players, I guess, in the Warriors this week, as you just think. I mean, if they're versing the Dragons, seems like points for plenty.
I was thinking about this option, and I was trying to think to myself, who could I get as a rogue sort of couple a week, maybe a centre wing or a second row, who's just going to absolutely obliterate the Dragons? And I was thinking to myself, there's actually no one scoring consistent points other than Ford in the Warriors team. Like, there's no one who's like, you could take a punt on a Dallin or a Loffy or whatever, and I wouldn't be scared by scores last week or in previous weeks if it's just a sort of couple of week. Like maybe centre wing 7 or whatever, you got a bit of cash floating around, you just want to take a huge pot on someone, that's absolutely fine. But I'm just trying to wonder where the points are going to actually lie. Tamari Martin, I think people have tossed up a lot, but there's no job security. CHT, I had him last year, he's pretty consistently just that 60-point guy. Maybe not so much this year, but has been in the past. I'm just struggling to see where the points are going to come from. I think it's going to come from the middles, honestly. I think the middles could absolutely rip this Dragons team apart with the speed of the play, the ball, etc. They always seem to do it. I mean, they dominated a pretty decent pack of the Broncos on the weekend. Like, they've been defending well in the middle, and the Warriors just ripped them apart. So I think it could be D-Day out there for some of the Dragons middles, unfortunately.
Yeah. Sorry, were you going to say something?
Are any of you guys looking at a forward captain for that reason?
I'll have an eye on it. I don't know.
I think I want to go for a higher ceiling player, but I think you could easily captain forward for a pretty consistent 80 points. 80 to 100. Obviously, if he picks up any attacking stat, it could be even bigger.
Yeah, I'll have a look at it. I think he's probably going to play 70 to 80 minutes. So maybe.
I mean, I'm thinking just hypothetically, the sub rotation for the weekend will be 1 sub Wade Egan to Sam Healy at some point, 1 sub Dimitri Vaimunga to, let's say, I don't know, James Fisher-Harris for argument's sake. 1 sub Tanner Stowers-Smith for Aaron Clark. Final sub will be someone, maybe Murata Niokore for Laban. So
maybe he will.
I think there's a space for Ford to play 80. Whether he does, I think it's going to be easily 60 plus. So I wouldn't be too worried about that.
You're right. Cool. Late game on Saturday, 7:35, Manly versus the Titans. Clayton Fa'alu obviously keeps his spot at fullback, and Josh Valetti comes into the centres for Tolu Kola. Blake Wilson comes onto the wing for Who's
Lehigh.
Yes, he got injured, didn't he?
Nah, suspended.
Suspended,
Yeah,
yep.
suspended.
Sure. Yep, cool. Forward pack looks the same apart from Jackson Sherab, who comes in for Hamole Olakawatu on the edge. For the Titans, this Talmapia's seems to have this wing spot on lock kind of now, to be honest.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's been scoring well. Probably not, or we would have heard more about him.
Yeah.
Jalen DeGroot starts in the centres. Jaden Campbell and Zane Harrison keep their combination in the halves going, so Jaden Campbell may get dual 5'8". So you don't know how it works in terms of, obviously Jaden Campbell played 2 games at 5'8" in the last block of 6 before the position changes. Does that now reset and he's got to play another 3 at 5'8" in this block?
I think it's just 3 altogether from my knowledge, but I think they hold a lot of a position of where they can take discretion, to be honest. Let's be honest, Ryan Catchman is a front row forward when he's coming on the field. But they just decide to elect that he's playing at 13 or whatever they want. I think they kind of realize that if Ryan Catchman gets given dual, everyone's just going to plug him up in front row and then they can get more second rows. I think they're just choosing not to give it to him, to be honest.
I think they'll give JC dual. I think they have to.
Oh, no, I do agree.
Yeah, this is 3 weeks in a row. In a row is a little bit different to these players that sort of play, I don't know, one Latrell. If he played 1 game at fullback, couple of games at centres, Jai Gray goes down, plays another 2 at fullback, and then Dufty comes in, or however you want to sort of phrase it. I think if he's playing 3 in a row, you kind of got to give it at that point, surely.
I'm just thinking though, what if hypothetically Zane Harrison drops out the side this week for whatever reason, and they go Ilias back in at 6, Jaden Campbell back to 7.
I think that
for the rest of the what would they do then?
I don't think he would get it.
Yeah.
But then I also heard something else about people moving around because of injury. They don't necessarily deem them actual positional change games. But I've only heard that this year. But obviously I was probably a little bit more ill-informed.
The overlords do what they want.
Yeah.
For the rest of the Titans, Khalees Haas comes in to start at prop for Tino, and Chris Randall, I believe it's some kind of concussion issue with Chris Randall, so Aram Howe's come back into the starting role.
Big win for holders. You reckon there's any?
No.
I think the Chris Randall thing is he got deemed as failing his HIA, but they're fighting it, so they're trying to get permission to take him with them. And if they do get permission, I'd say he starts at second row over Howe. So I just something to monitor there. I mean, I don't know if the reports come back. I haven't seen anything about it, but I just know that they're waiting for the NRL to seek approval for him to play. So,
anyone want to guess Arama Howe's ownership, top 10%?
1%.
2.2.
Oh, it was 7.5%, which honestly is a little bit higher than I thought.
Yeah. Why would you hold that?
You would have tanked some peas.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's it from that game. Final game of the round, Sunday, 4 p.m. Cowboys against the Rabbitohs. Robert Derby comes onto the wing. Murray Taulagi still dealing with some kind of injury. Ben will get to that later, I imagine, or maybe he won't. Liam Sutton and Jake Clifford keep their halves partnership. Geez, they looked pretty good last week, didn't they?
Yeah.
Matt Lodge continues to start at prop, which feels a bit crazy, but that's the world we live in. Otherwise, that's about it for their team. For the Bunnies, Latrell Seagwalt comes into centres as predicted for Latrell Mitchell, and Tallis Duncan joins him in the centres. Talanoa Penatani gets his first start on the wing. Campbell Graham injured, suspended.
I'm pretty sure he is injured, but
Injured, I thought, yeah.
Okay, yep. So good on you, Penatani. Ashton Ward still has the 7 jersey. Jamie Humphries just kicked out to the cold. Sean Kepi starting in the front row. I think this is the rest of them. Oh, yep. Keon Kalamatangi starts on the edge, which I find very interesting. And Adam Elliott gets the starting lock jersey this week. This Bunny team feels weird to me. I don't know what Lock and Hubner did wrong to anyone. He was fantastic last year. You can't seem to get anything this time.
Yeah. I mean, they did sign Adam Elliott for this exact reason, I'd say, when Cam Murray goes to Origin.
That just seems so harsh on... Hubner did a great job filling in for Murray the entirety of last year.
I mean, I think they really like him coming off the bench, but it does feel rogue, doesn't it? It's a bit hard to bring a bench player on for Cam Murray because he's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just to clarify, those 2 players we were asking about, Campbell Graham with a calf injury, so he will miss a couple of weeks, and Murray Taulagi is still coming back from that concussion. So it must be some lingering sort of Will Warbricks about it, I'd say.
Yeah, well, I think he got 2 relatively close together. And then, I think it was a relatively bad one, the way he kind of went in from memory. They were always said he would be out for 2 weeks, but this is probably about 3 now. So they're probably just doing.
Only is possible to play last week, but they held him back, which might have hurt his Origin chances a bit. And then they're just like giving him an extra week now because he's not playing Origin. There's no point in sort of rushing him back.
Well, to be honest, I dare say if he was right to go this week, Billy would have picked him.
Probably.
But
Yeah, just on merit, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's just better than Cobbo.
Yeah.
I know we're all super hot on Latrell Siegwald a couple of weeks ago. I just think the way that things have fallen, it's probably just not the right time for Latrell.
He can still do it. He's going to be goal kicking. Like, there's no question there. He's going to be a good option, but I do think timing is an issue. And with Latrell not getting picked for Origin, he is going to come back into that team at some point.
Yeah, that's the fear.
If he was any other position than halfback, fullback, I'd probably grab him at centre wing.
Oh, definitely.
But I just think with everything going on, there's better options to pay up for. I think it's a bit rough at this point in the season, dropping him down and then having to hide him basically for mini buys potentially. Because you have better players. So I think you probably don't, but if you have a spare space and you have, I don't know, somehow you still have a Daniel Atkinson or someone, I think you can absolutely go for him.
Yeah. I think you're basically bang on. Centre wing would have been fantastic. I also just would have wanted to see more than 1 week of sample size.
Yep. But who knows? He could go out there and score 80 on the week. Who knows? It's honestly very possible.
Alrighty, I believe that's us done with the team list for the week. Let's move on to our main segment. And what we're going to talk about, as Elliot said, we're going to just be looking at some of the main big dog players that we probably all have in our teams and think, are they keepers for, over through the Origin period and just for the rest of the season? Because, I typically view it as you want to have a final 20 because obviously you only play 18, but you want to have a couple.
Yeah,
little bit of
buys, etc. So.
Yeah, you want to have a little bit of variability around that. So I think of it as a final 20. So will these guys be members of our final 20? Do we want to give a visual signal? Like I'm going to say now we go 3, 2, 1, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah, let's do that.
We like that? Okay.
Yeah. Start at the top.
Where should we start?
Let's start at the top.
Well, are we thinking players we all own?
Pretty close. At least 2 people own, I think.
Do you want to say Jackson Ford then?
I was going to say Harry Grant first.
You want to say Harry Grant? Oh,
Yeah.
that is higher up, isn't it?
Yeah,
Harry Grant, 3, 2, 1. I think he's a keeper.
Also, Melbourne Storm have great buy coverage for someone playing Origin. It's how I'd phrase that.
No, that's bang on.
Other than their buy in 25, I think you said, is the only time you might need a sort of playable second hooker. I think at that point you just use him as a VC loop, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think even Brandon Smith might be fit by that stage. Maybe we can hope.
in
13 weeks' time, he might be fit.
I don't know if I'd be playing him given the injury risk, but I think he's easier season keeper.
Yeah. And we'll have a conversation about this later around Ollie Pascoe, but basically what you just said around the amount of weeks you need to cover him is going to factor into my thinking. Is there anyone know what Harry Grant's break even is at the moment? Don't check.
It's going to be negatives, I think, because he got 150 and then he got 96 on the week. Oh, it's going to be like negative 30.
It's negative 18.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think I'm not fully against a Smith to a Pascoe this week. A Grant to a Pascoe.
Yeah, no way.
Absolute no-go.
I think with Storm clicking and then him finding some form, he always seems to find some form after Origin. So I think, you got to keep him basically.
All right. Jackson Ford, there's 2 owners on this table. Are you ready, Ben?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
I would say, actually, I'm going to give him a middle. And I'll tell you.
A middle, okay.
I'll explain. I think, to preface some other players, because I think we're all going to say thumbs up for them. I've currently got Stefano, front row forward 3. So can we get a quick vote on that? 3, 2, 1. Okay, interesting. So maybe we differ. I'm fine as him for a front row 3. And Twal, for most of us, front row 2. 3, 2, 1.
Twal's a keeper.
So my thinking is, Twal's a keeper. I'm pretty happy with Stefano as a front row forward 3. Don't know if I want to spend too much money. Could Jackson Ford be that bloke that goes to Payne Haas when Mitch Barnett's back from Origin and the minutes maybe aren't so secure? Maybe he's coming off the bench. For me, I think that's a possibility. So I'd probably give him a middle for that reason. I think at the moment, through buy coverage, etc., he's a strong thumbs up. But I think towards the end of the season, Payne Haas finds some form after a couple of Origin games, maybe. Broncos have a bad buy schedule up till 19. Round 20, I could definitely see myself going Jackson Ford to Payne Haas.
That's an interesting point. I guess this is just a good conversation to have around our front row forward complexion as a whole. I think my final front row forward is going to be 12 forward Haas.
Yeah, which
Stefano
is
to Haas.
Absolutely fine. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
But you're correct in terms of, it's a significant price gap between them. So So less of a jump there to there. And also, I mean, if it does end up happening, what happened last week where Ford comes off the bench, plays 60, he won't be getting held. Tell you that for free.
I will also say, like, my 20 is probably going to compromise of like 3 premium second rows, 3 premium centre wings. So Stefano's kind of fine as just filling in for those bye weeks.
Yeah.
So I think for centre wing and second row this year, plus your halves and your fullbacks, like there's going to be too many players floating around. I don't know if I need 12 forward and Haas.
I've considered myself for 3 big dog front rows. What do you think about front row, mate?
Yeah, so I guess the conjecture where I stand is I would want to get Stefano as a front row 3 to like a Payne Haas with you. So I guess I agree. So, but then the conjecture lies with I just think Ford's minutes are that the blueprint of what we saw on the weekend is going to be the blueprint for the Wars for the later season. I guess that's my opinion. I think that. Well, for sure, if there's an injury, I think that Ford does jump back into that massive minute role. But I think while Barnett's there, I think honestly that he's going to the Broncos next year. I think it's the same for Payne Haas, same for Keon, those clubs that own him now.
Just run him into the ground.
Yeah, just run him into the ground, basically, I think. And so I think Ford will still play a solid role there at the Wars, but I just think the middles are going to be, it's just going to be a better rotation for more intense footy towards the end of the season. I think the Waz are in a good spot, and I just don't really see them just, I don't know, not wasting, but just like burning out Ford, I would say, in my opinion.
I think it's a fair point.
So then my front row, ideally, in an ideal world, would be Payne Haas, Terrell May. I think I'm going to look at a bit over Ford, and then Alex Twal as well. Yeah, and then Saxon Price just going to stay there for me.
Good old Saxon.
Yeah.
That's just, my opinion at the end of the day. If Ford does just keep it up, though, he's definitely going to enter my team, and he's definitely going to be a keeper. But until I see the proof of it for like maybe a 4-week stint post-Origin, 3 to 4 week stint post-Origin, I'm probably just going to commit to the fade.
Yeah, well, I definitely agree with you in terms of if that happens, that will happen, he'll be getting sold.
Yeah.
Anything more to add there? But
I think that you've pretty much touched on it.
Fantastic.
I think that's a lot of money to find, but everyone's got money. Just with your Terrell May, Payne Haas, and obviously Alex Twal.
I think
you've already got 12.
I think you'll have the money.
But I think everyone will have the money.
Does anyone know Payne Haas's price?
It's
no,
not that
but I mean, I'm
expensive.
pretty confident it's going to go down.
And
It's about 680, 690, I think. And it's
680, and he's got a monster break even.
Yeah.
I reckon you get Payne Haas for low 6s.
Yeah, which is
whenever he comes
great
back.
because it'll be...
But I think he's back in either 13 or 14. So either next week or the week after. And then,
Is it really that soon?
yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
on your
So
Payne.
it's like, does he have some solid matches before Origin or in and around Origin? He's still going to end up paying a pretty penny for him.
Well, you might have to wait anyway because the Broncos miss both minis. So if he plays both Origins and both minis,
True, actually.
you might have to wait.
He might not, yeah.
Anyway, cool. I think we move on.
Yep.
Second row, we all own Lasardi. 3, 2, 1. I think it's a
Season
keeper, boys.
keeper there.
Yeah,
I
he
think he's
looks good.
staying. I don't think much else can be said there. Well, let's go to his counterpart, Ryan Couchman. 3, 2, 1. I reckon he keeps his role.
I think middle would be fair in reality, but yeah.
I just think
Ryan
it's
keeps
a
his
watch
role.
for me.
I would probably agree.
I think you just watch to see if the roll goes down at all. So if you got Jaden Stewart and Luch starting on the edges again, and maybe they use Dylan Egan, then there's going to be 3 subs for the middles, realistically. So I think in that case, maybe you consider getting off him, but I think for now he's done absolutely nothing wrong.
I just see myself running with like 4 or 5, well, 5 with Lasardi, but 4 like really premium 2RF options. Maybe if that even includes 12, I don't know. But he just feels like perfect enough fuel for me. Like there might be a
Totally
week
fair.
where I need like a ton of cash, and it's probably just going to be Ryan Catchman to Joey Walsh or whatever it's
James Walsh.
James Walsh. Joey Walsh, oh yeah, he actually plays.
That's probably fair. I'm probably envisioning him as my 5th second row forward, which technically my 20 incorporates 4 second row forwards. So he might sit just outside of it, but I just think he's looking too good. I think his minutes are monstrous, and I just think why would the Dragons play him less?
Yeah.
They're probably playing
The
more.
Couchmans are the only good things about the Dragons at the moment.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Yep, lovely. A contentious one. Helam Luki. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, it's just a tough one. You were the opposite of us. So.
Yeah, I just think he is just a bit mid. And for what I'm looking for in a keeper, he's just not really there. He had the attack outside Dearden. Dearden's now injured. Obviously, it'll be a big test to see whether he finds some big attacking stats off the outside of Jake Clifford. But I just think it's the base power is just not quite enough for me, and it doesn't look like it just doesn't. He doesn't feel like a premium option when you look at Hudson Young, Olakau'atu, maybe even a Preston. Who else are we looking at there? Simi when he comes back, they just feel like out and out keepers, and he just doesn't feel like an out and out keeper to me.
Yeah, I see the vision. I tend to agree that I think post Origin you would maybe want to get rid of him, just because there'll be better options. But I think you're gonna have to make some sacrifices somewhere, money wise. I mean, I know we have a lot of money, but if you're getting Ola Kawadu, Terrell May, Payne Haas, obviously Hudson Young, like those guys, bar Payne Haas at the moment, obviously are all going to be like 700 to 800k. You're gonna have to make a sacrifice somewhere. Could I see myself just keeping Luki? I definitely would consider it, to be honest. I don't think he's the worst option, but you are right. He is quite attack reliant. I mean, you probably want him for some of this Origin period just because he won't be fatigued from playing Origin, anything like that. And I think with Fene Fuiaki not even making the side, I think there's next to zero chance he gets a call up for Origin. So I could definitely see myself holding him for then, and then, you sort of consider, do I have enough money to get all the big dogs? And then, make your decision.
Yeah, for myself, this is kind of the decision I'm forcing myself to make this week, because if I do want to sell him, I'll go him to Kai Bisport next week. Otherwise, I'll go someone else, which means I have to find money.
Yeah.
So, yeah, his base power is not as good as the big dogs. Like, I mean, Rauchman, Lasardi are in the 70s. Finafuiaki's in the high 60s. Kai Pisport, mid 60s. Even like both Fermor and Dylan Lucas, who have had pretty disappointing years compared to previous from their base power perspective, are still in the 60s, so above Luki. I'm honestly so unsure about how I feel about it, but you do raise good points that he's not looking overly hot, and there are just better bodies. Like Homole's been looking unbelievable. You probably want to bring him in eventually, and then by the time you have Finafuiaki, or at least I do, Kai Bisport and Homole,
maybe Hudson Young as well,
maybe Hudson, and then Lasardi, Rauchman, etc. They just may not be room for him. So maybe I'm now starting to lean more towards he's not a keeper.
Yeah. Also, just from glancing at your team, would you ever consider like a twirl down to Tuaraf, just genuinely play him at Tuaraf and then get in like Payne Haas when he's free, or something along those lines? Like, it doesn't sound like the timelines might match up quite with that sort of a play, but would you ever consider bringing in a premium front row?
Maybe. I think I'm more keen to sell Stefano.
Yeah. Now that I've sort of talked it through with you guys, I can definitely see myself selling Stefano.
Yeah.
He's been good, but he hasn't reinvented the wheel. And the minutes, he's done a great job for us.
He's done a good job.
He's obviously only gained like 50k on the season, but
doesn't matter.
I didn't really need him to do anything special. I need to see an increased minute roll there before I sort of get off him. But for Origin period, he's not the worst person to have.
But yeah, I think Twal Tuaraf worthy. You would agree?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would agree.
I think he's definitely worthy of it if the time's right. Excellent. All right, that's second row done. Moving to halfbacks.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room, Nathan Cleary first.
Yeah, but how are we answering this? Are we answering, is he a keeper, as in, are you going to have him at the final day of the season, or is he a keeper? Are you going to hold him throughout the duration of the Origin period?
Let's do, you're going to trade him out and trade him back in? You're going to trade him out and not trade him back in?
Okay.
You're going to hold him through Origin?
Okay. Are you ready?
Hopefully I did that on camera.
Yes. 3, 2, 1. I'm thinking I might hold all the way.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking at my trades thinking maybe I don't quite have as many as I'd like. And I think just holding him through, I can find the coverage. That's no worries. So why not hold him?
Yeah.
It's going to be week to week to me. It's going to depend sort of what situation I'm looking at in 14, because I'm feeling a bit low on trades. And I might look to get rid of Teddy maybe next week if things align. And then it's kind of like, are you really going to use like 2 trades each on bringing back in Cleary and Teddy? Because I know I want Teddy at the end. It is a little bit worrying, but I do need Hines somehow. So I guess whether that's Ponga doesn't back up one game and it's like, well, I don't know if I can hold you through that mini buy. I don't know. That's why I'm saying I guess it depends where I'm at. But
yeah, Cleary's a tough one.
Interesting.
Cleary's a tough one. Yeah, I mostly agree with what you guys said. I really don't know. I think week to week is probably the way to look at it at the moment. Purdue, Ben, we could quickly do Purdue.
Yep.
3, 2, 1. I don't think he's a keeper at all. I think I sell him eventually.
That's fine. I just am waiting for a better option. I mean, maybe I put JC in there eventually if I can do that, if they give him dual. But until then, I think he's fine. He's going to as I've said it all season, I think he'll just finish the season averaging about 60 to 65. And I'm absolutely fine with that. Obviously, you can take a punt on some higher ceiling players, but 5'8" is somewhere that's pretty uninspiring, and I could see myself just making 0 trades there all year.
Yeah, I think my 5'8" will end up some combination of JC, Sharp, or some just enough.
Yeah.
It'd be 2 of those 3 options.
And Peasant's just sitting there for me. I mean, if he gets back on the park, that'd be great, but he's also not doing anything wrong.
Yeah,
if
well,
I ever need cash, then there's probably 150 there, but I'm not rushing to do that.
Yeah. All right. Tom Chester. All right, we're ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Yeah. I reckon he doesn't last, Tom Chester.
I think he's basically hit his ceiling now, price-wise, and he's going to keep punching out those sort of scores, but, I mean, eventually you're going to want some sort of higher ceiling players. For now, he's not doing anything wrong, but...
Oh, my days. He's currently the third highest centre wing for base power.
Yeah.
Average. That's actually outrageous.
I don't think they use him well enough attackingly for my liking.
Yeah, he doesn't find the attack points often, but you are always going to find about 50 in base power. And then,
Yeah, I just think as well, going into the 15, 18 buys, that's probably just a good window to sell him to someone who plays over that period. And the Cowboys also have a third buy at some stage later in the year.
I completely agree with that. I think for me, obviously I've got some trade plans, but if I need to find a number because I'm holding Cleary at some stage, then absolutely he'll go. That's no problems for me.
Yep. Cool. I
Just
mean,
rattle off the easy one. So
Herbie,
Farmer,
3, 2, 1.
2 greens from us.
Kaeluro, 3, 2, 1.
1.
I think he stays. I think he lost the course.
I mean, McLean for us, Dan.
I mean,
Just do it quickly.
I think he's not lasting.
I don't think he's a season keeper. I mean, I think I'll probably sell him in 15 when they go into that rough period. And then Greg Marju for us, 3, 2, 1.
Ooh!
I don't know if he's going to be a keeper, guys. It'll depend what Newey are doing in the back end of the year, but I think we saw what happens to Greg in certain games, and if there's just someone performing better at that point, I'm not married to Greg at all.
Yeah,
I think that's very fair, but I just think there's not many better options out there. Like Jenkins is probably one that you'd probably consider, but
I'd probably get on Jenkins. Yeah.
I'd sell McLean before I sell Marju, I think.
Yeah, it'll depend what situation I'm in, but yeah, I think I'm just not married to him.
That's very fair.
I think it's fair.
Bostock?
Yeah, 3, 2, 1. I don't think he's a keeper.
Probably somewhere in the middle.
I don't
to
think.
be honest,
I don't think he'll stay the whole year.
I think he's definitely a keeper. I think he just looks the goods. He just eye test wise, he's just looked good in his last 2 games. Small sample size, obviously, but 3 games that is.
He has looked great so far.
He's found attack. He's been buzzing around. I guess when the attack doesn't come though, there's going to be 30s and 40s, which is unfortunate.
His base is strong enough to keep him going though.
I just wonder if the Finns attack just looks better this year, and we saw it with like kind of going right to Averillo in the first bit of the year. Whether that puts him on the left wing when Averillo comes back or something else they want to do, that might dry up a little bit or change my thoughts. But while he's at right centre, I'm pretty content.
Do you think you've just sort of named my fears with it, which is Jake Averillo coming back? Will he hold a spot? Cobbo's now in Origin. It's a bit hard to drop an Origin winger from your team.
I don't think it is. I think I'd easily drop Cobbo and bring in Bostock.
Yeah, well, until then, obviously, that would be the only sort of fear for me. But I think if he's playing, then I'm absolutely going to keep him. His base power is really strong for a centre, and if he goes to the wing, he'll get even more carries. No one kicks to Jermaine Asako because he's such a good aerial threat, I guess. He's pretty safe under the high ball, so
Yeah,
he'll become the target like Selwyn is.
I think Averillo can't get back into this side, but that's just my sort of hot opinion.
It is a good point, to be fair. Averillo, I don't think Averillo has a mortgage on that jersey at all.
No, I don't think so.
And there's a pretty unique opportunity that's just presented itself with Nicarima succumbing to a hamstring injury. He could easily go to 6.
He could do that.
Yeah, he could.
Especially with Izzy Katoa, you don't need a 6 who's reinventing the wheel. But yeah, we'll talk about that when that team list comes out. Obviously, that's all conjecture at this point.
Alrighty, moving to the fullbacks. Let's start with the easy one, Kalen Ponga. 3, 2, 1. I reckon he lost the course. Everyone's thumbs up?
Yeah,
Cool.
Injury would be the only thing, but you can't predict that. So yeah,
I think that's an obvious caveat with everybody.
yeah.
Sua Farlongo.
Yep.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Oh, the full spectrum. Let's start with Mr. Positive.
Honestly, if you asked me this probably a week ago, my thumb would be down. I was
that's
planning
right.
to sell him. I didn't quite think he would be the keeper. But my opinion's changed now. He doesn't really fit into trade plans now. With me looking at potentially getting rid of Cleary for Hines in 14 and then Tedesco maybe for someone else in the coming weeks. I just think he looks good. His game on the weekend, granted he didn't score well, he's just a fun watch, isn't he? Like, he's just a ball of energy. He nearly scored the first try. He broke through and had full field breaks in 2 others that didn't go to tries. Oh, he just looks so good. And he's just probably the one sort of player I just want to watch week in, week out and just watch him cook. He's found an attacking start in every single game. I think once the Storm heat up, I want to be on him.
Yeah, he is a ball of energy. I am just getting a little bit tired of him not scoring big enough. 67, 76. He was injured for that 45, so I'll allow him there, 49. I'm just kind of like, he is just starting to regress. Like, look, he was averaging 95, 100, whatever. He is just starting to pull back to that 80 kind of range. And I'm like, he's not goal kicking. Melbourne do have a lot of mouths to feed, especially when they're all firing. I think that's the main thing I've learned from these past few weeks is Grant, Hughes, Munster have stood up more. What's happened to Sewer? He's kind of taken a little bit of a backward step.
I'm going to raise you guys a counter argument.
It's a tough one.
To sort of support you as well. So you've talked about Ponga season keeper. You've talked about wanting to get Teddy back in. Are you going to go Sewer over Reece Walsh if the Broncos need to go on a run at the end of the season?
Yeah, it's a good point. I did call Ponga a season keeper, and to that I'll probably say I should have gone this.
So you'd sell Ponga before you'd sell Sewer?
I think so.
So yeah, maybe the opposite. So that's why I sort of gave the thumbs down. I think I could definitely see myself going Sewer to Reece, especially considering the Broncos are not comfortably sitting on the ladder. So they will have to win games, and I think that'll be off the back of Reece Walsh. But
I agree.
I mean, there's going to be
for the run home.
There's going to be injuries throughout the season, so this could all change. But purely conjecture, I think Sewer for me would be the most obvious sell. I've sold Tedesco this week as a little sort of preference to my trades, I guess, but I will be bringing him back in post-Origin. So,
and again, it's going to depend on a form run from the Storm and Sewer, whether he does have all those mouths to feed and continues up his 60s and 70s. I will look to sell him in that case. In the case that he heats up, obviously it's an easy opinion to have, but yeah, I think he'll be a keeper. And then just the opposite for Ponga, or the same for Ponga, I should say, actually. Or it will just depend how the Knights are sitting. Ponga's in and around it. He had a little bit of a down game, probably for confidence on the weekend. So if he strings a couple of those together and gets 50, 60, 50, he'll be a sell as well, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it'll just be a straight shootout between those two.
Yeah, I think that's fair analysis.
I think the biggest one for me is will Kalen Ponga back up? That will be my decision, because if he's not going to back up for all the minis, there's a real world he doesn't, because he's currently nursing an injury.
I think he will.
If he doesn't back up, then I think he has to.
I think he has to.
He might.
He needs to play. The Knights need him. He is the Knights, and the Knights are him.
Yeah.
Well, put it this way: if he doesn't back up in 13, it's a bit early. I might look at Ponga to Nico.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A week early.
I'd be blown away if Ponga doesn't back up. I'd be blown away.
Yeah. I don't think it's a week early, because Nico could easily get 120 against the Manly Sea Eagles without Homole and
yeah.
Final
guy.
If they don't back up, that is.
If they don't back up.
Sorry, the last comment I want to make about Ponga is Ponga's draw was the thing that lured me to him, and it's the best part about owning him, looking at him versing, I think out of his next 4 out of 5, he plays at McDonald Jones, and it's Eels. I don't know if he gets... you've got it right there. He gets Dragons again, then Melbourne and Tigers, and then Dolphins at McDonald Jones as well.
My sort of point about the backup, if he doesn't back up, he misses Parramatta, he misses Dragons, and he misses Souths, which are probably the 3 biggest games there. So they're all the minis. If he doesn't back up because he's nursing an injury, then I'd probably say, maybe not.
Yeah.
And you just fade him for a week against the Dragons if he does back up after Origin too. But yeah, I think that's just worth considering as well.
Maybe. Yeah.
He's obviously pretty injury prone. They've got another option in Fletcher Sharp. Would they consider just giving him a rest? Maybe.
Yeah. And then the final sort of comment, which is exactly what you're saying, is if he's not playing the good matchups, then he's not really worth. The run just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Fair.
Anyway, let's move on.
Fair. James Tedesco. 3, 2, 1. Maybe I'm scarred by the 21 last week. I've been looking at Teddy's numbers. He went through this stretch of getting like 60, 60, 40, and he's got 20.
But you forget that's when the Roosters were terrible. I'm pretty
I
convinced
don't
by
know.
them.
Didn't
now.
they win this game against the Sharks?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm being emotional just based on the 20 last week, which is absolutely depressing to watch. I'm kind of on a similar wave of there's just a lot of fullbacks or a lot of things you could do in that flex spot.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I'm married to it, but
I think at this point of the season, if we're purely looking at right now, Teddy is probably the biggest sell out of Pongasu or Teddy.
I'd agree with that.
Definitely.
I could do it this week still.
However, I do think by the end of the season, you will want him. You will probably want him, Reece, and someone else would be my 3. You could go with a Dylan Edwards if the Panthers are trying to go for that minor premiership.
I'm saying
You
that
could
there's
go
just a
with
lot of
Ponga,
bodies.
yeah.
There's a lot of bodies.
But I think you just take your pick on one of them to fill that extra spot. I think
I could see
Teddy's
myself going to Drinkwater, like at that kind of window. Like, all right, I don't know. I'm starting to feel nervous about Teddy, and he costs like 860K.
That's
I don't
very
really
much.
want to have him just chill there for a bit.
I will say you will want Drinkwater because they have a bye in 25, but from 23 onwards they go Titans, Para, West Tigers, Canberra. That's a pretty good run for a fullback.
That's pretty good.
But that's a sort of later problem. That's a trade luxury sort of problem, I think. If
Yeah.
you have a trade that late in the season still,
Yeah.
which you'd hope you do, but given this year's sort of inconveniences with injuries, etc., I think it's a bit of a reality. You're not flush with trades at that point.
Yeah. Okay, and that's it. That's all the players that that's the main guys that we all own.
Is there anyone else of note that we should maybe talk about that other people might own that we're like if you...
Okay, but the answer's probably no, to be honest. I think we own basically all the big dogs.
Yeah. I mean, if you have Latrell Mitchell, you holding? Would you
No.
want him by the end of the season?
Yeah, but you just sell now. You sell him now.
Jaden Campbell.
Oh, yeah, we both have him now. If he gets 5/8 dual, so let's factor in he does get 5/8 dual.
Yeah, I think
Right, 3, 2, 1.
he's probably keeper.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know him, but I'll be having a look at him.
Fletcher Sharp, guys. Do you have an opinion on him? If Jaden Campbell does get the duel, can you hold both?
You could.
Can, yes.
I probably wouldn't.
I think I would.
I think it's maybe.
I definitely would.
I don't know. 5/8's just such a mind boggler.
Yeah.
Maybe is my answer, which is very Fence City, but maybe I could.
I just don't think he'd fit inside my 20. I mean, you're going to have 2 reserves in your second row. Likely going to have 2, maybe 3 for me in your center wing. And you're going to have 1 at least at front row. That pretty much makes up your 20. You're going to also have a fullback. So maybe you don't have a 5th center wing, 7th center wing. So that's already 20. Are you going to then have Fletcher Sharp as well?
I look at my 20 as you have a reserve at front row, second row, halfback, 2 reserves at center wing, and a fullback.
Yeah, it's a great way of putting it. Yeah.
So maybe you drop, I don't know, maybe
I don't think you can,
drop
though.
a center wing for a 5/8 if you just think Fletcher Sharp's going to keep cooking like that. I don't think that's ridiculous, to be honest.
No, not at all. But I think center wing, there's some sort of life there at the moment.
Center wing is kind of a dead position at the moment, though, to be
Yeah,
honest.
there will be life
But
there.
it won't stay like that for
You'd imagine so.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's our main segment done for the week. Let us move on to the Physio Files.
Awesome. So this week's Physio Files, sorry, while I pull it up, there is some players that are sort of coming back. Important to note there. I mean, there's not too many this week, but there's players in and around. We talked about Payne Haas earlier. Obviously, there's a bunch of sort of untalked about players that are sort of on that comeback as well. So just keep an eye on sort of timelines and week-to-week sort of team lists is what I'd say around that, because people will be returning in the short term. For example, Isaiah Yongi this week returning to New South Wales Cup. So you'd imagine he's a week off playing. I mean, I don't think there's a world they don't put him in the team considering how good he is. But there's a bunch of players like that as well. So first one of the week we'll talk about, obviously, Alex Twal, a late out last week with a knee injury. The Tigers do expect him to be back for next week, so round 13, and play from then on. I think it was more of a precautionary thing, given how their season's going. You probably want to make sure he's fit and firing for every game he plays. Latrell Mitchell, obviously, with the back injury, came off early and didn't get selected for the Blues. So important to note, it must be pretty considerably bad. I think that does sort of put a little maybe question mark on Latrell Seagwalt because eventually Latrell's going to come back. And if he's not playing Origin, then, yeah, I think he's obviously going to be in that team somewhere. Obviously, Tanner Boyd, unfortunately, did an ACL injury on the weekend. He's out for the rest of the season. Waiting for Luke Metcalf to flip on that deal because I would want to stay at the Warriors if I was him. But they have something in the water out there considering Barnett came back in about 9 months or something ridiculous. So, yeah. Obviously, Taylor May did his shoulder, and looking at the sort of motion of it, it wasn't even that bad. It was kind of just a hand from Ruben Garrick, but I've heard rest of the season. I think it's an indefinite sort of stay. So I think for me, obviously it's time to sell, definitely, but it's really sad to see. I really liked him as a pod, and obviously off the back of that 150.
Oh, it was so enjoyable.
I was like, here we go.
It was great. Apparently he was wearing a brace as well, and it's just like once it gets to stop it getting into that like elevated above shoulder sort of plane risk, and then you could kind of just see him push out off Garrick, and it just went and buckled off that.
Oh, dear.
So yeah, apparently you just do, every time it comes out, you just do further structural damage to it. So
Yeah.
it's just, unfortunate. But I think,
Bloody
that'll be
hell.
his season over, right?
Yeah, as far as there's actually no timeline on it because they don't know. Like, he could be fit, but I think it's a strong possibility he doesn't play till round 1 next year.
Yeah.
Daniel Tupou with his calf injury, it's 2 to 6 weeks. It's a strain, so no one actually knows the severity or the timeline, but he will be out for a considerable time. And with Mark out as well, I think that's sort of resonates with Cody Ramsey owners. You'd probably be pretty happy that now both wingers are out. Jordan Ricky requiring surgery on a foot. Kind of flew under the radar on that, but 4 to 6 weeks, just another Broncos to add to the injury pile, and probably one of our best players from the first sort of...
Honestly, yeah, I was looking at his position in overall. I think it must have been points. It must have been points.
He's up there.
Guess the rank out of all super coaches.
I reckon he's
All players, sorry.
I reckon he's around the 20-ish mark.
Yeah, you'd be correct. It was 19, 20, 21, one of the three.
21.
21.
Yeah.
What on Jordan?
I think that's great, to be honest.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been a Supercoach player of note in yesteryear and whatnot. But
that would come down
I think
with average.
the third man in,
Yeah.
the third man in tackle has sort of benefited him a lot, I think, because he's always been a notorious sort of workhorse around the ruck. But yeah.
Go on, Jordan.
So Herbie Farnworth, I've heard all these reports that he's currently ruled out for this round. So spoilers to viewers. Obviously, there's been a few people post about it. Most of you probably know, but Herbie Farnworth has technically been ruled out. However, it was important to note that the 24 hour before, where they usually make those changes. So, for example, we saw when Latrell Mitchell got pulled 2 weeks ago, they updated it in the 24 hours before. He didn't get ruled out. So I'm wondering if it's a touch and go for him to play. I don't know, to be honest. And there's no, like, the Dolphins haven't released any sort of clarification around that. But yeah, we'll just wait and see with that. Keep an eye on the team list. I mean, you've got the luxury of just putting him in a team this week, and even if he doesn't play, it doesn't matter. So definitely keep him in your team just in case. Obviously, some really sad news in the last coming days with Jai Arrow having to medically retire with motor neuron disease. There's some pretty sad clips going around on TikTok. I mean, Origin great, one of the best players for a while. Just really sad to see someone so young. Obviously, I guess now struggling within the life expectancy of sort of between 1 and 5 years. So, yeah, really sad to see that. Braden Burns, supposed to be back in round 13. So, obviously, he's been touch and go for weeks and weeks and weeks. He's played some and then gone off and whatever. But apparently confirmed he'll be back for round 13. And then Campbell Graham with a calf injury, only 2 weeks on that one. But, yeah, that pretty much wraps up the Physio Files for the week. I hope I've given you some clarification. Obviously, I'll go in depth next week about more of the players that aren't named. But obviously, it's hard to tell who's injured and who's not when most teams are on a bye this week.
Nice. Alrighty. Let's move into our panics, buys, and sells of the week. We'll start with the buys, but just when we get to the sells, obviously just keep in mind you're not going to sell anyone who's playing this week. So our sells, we pick people who are on buys, who you could look at to sell as an option, but yeah, it's again, bye weeks are weird. Okay, I'll start with my first buy. I'm going to talk about Tamari Martin. I believe he is a 3. I reckon there's every chance Tamari Martin does not hold this spot and Luke Metcalf comes back in. I understand. I was listening to some podcasts who were saying, well, why would you play Metcalf? Like, he's ditching you anyway, blah, 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 blah. That kind of sentiment. I think Metcalf is a better player than Tamari Martin. I think he just is. I think if he's going to give them a chance to win a comp this year,
I think that is the main point.
You have to bring him back in. Definitely. So I don't want to take a punt again on a 5'8", like that. So I think is a 3. If you just want to take a punt on this week and hope he stays in, he could be unbelievable. He was really good last week. It's not for me personally.
I think the biggest allure is it's the Dragons, right?
That is the allure.
It's like he's gonna score like probably 80 to 100. You would think.
Well, I did hear someone say, halfbacks against Penrith, they're basically guaranteed 100. Sorry, against the Dragons, they're basically guaranteed 100, aren't they? Yeah, how'd that go for Nathan Cleary last week, you donkeys? So he's not guaranteed 100, but you're correct. It is an easier fixture.
For me, maybe it's slightly higher. Maybe I'm sitting around a 5 or a 6. And my pure reason is a lot of teams still have Pezzett. Could you not just go Pezzett to Tamari Martin? He's enough if he doesn't play. And if he plays from time to time, he's going to gain you some cash and be a good playable option. I mean, he's going to play this week against the Dragons. It feels crazy using a trade. But if you have 25 plus trades still, I think I'd absolutely do that for Pezzett.
I think it really depends what situation your team's in. If you have lots of numbers, like say you already have 12 to 13 names, you could probably look at doing it. If you have good coverage through the rest of the bye period, I'd probably look at it. I mean, in most other circumstances, I don't think it's necessary.
I do have that. That decent coverage, but I'm not thinking about it.
I mean, I just think the Liam Sutton emerging for the Cowboys is my sort of deterrent against it, is if you do want to find someone there, you can just get him in a couple of weeks. So, yeah.
Or just bring in a true enough. Like, what if Tamari Martin just like jumps onto the Warriors bench and plays like 20 minutes a week?
Yeah, there's an 80.
Then you have an 80 nightmare.
I mean, I don't think he'll come on and play 20 minutes, but
I don't think it's worth the gamble for me.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Next up.
All right. I've got the great Timmy Williams, Zach Hosking. I'm keen. I think I'm really looking at him this week. I think the role's going to be great. Adam Mariota doesn't really scream to me as an 80-minute guy, and he's playing on the other edge, so it feels like Hosking is shooting for 80 minutes at least for these bye rounds when Hudson Young is out. Whether that's 60 to 80 in other rounds, i.e. 13, 14, 16, 17, whatever. That's fine by me. He's probably might not even get played in that round anyway. But yeah, I'm super keen on him. I think the Raiders have their first bye in 18, is it?
Yes.
Yep, 18. Yeah, look great for coverage. 485K or so. Definitely keen to go there for me. I would number on it, obviously. With not many other options this week and a lot of people needing a player, I'd honestly put him at like an 8.
Yeah. Pretty on board with that. To support your point as well, I mean, I talked through the bench rotation for the Wars this week. I might do the same for the Raiders. So obviously Tom Starling, who they love to use the sub on, so you'd imagine Owen Paddy comes on around that 60th minute mark for obviously Tom Starling. 2 subs in the middle, I'd say. Jaden Braley, I think it is, playing
at lock.
Yeah. So he'll probably split 50-50 with Morgan Smithies, sort of probably 40-40 or 50-30, I don't know, something there. You've then got a sub on Ata Moriata, who will need a rest. They have a second row on the bench, so that's probably 3. And then 4th sub will be a rotation between, a bench player and Taps and Horsburgh. So I don't think there's a world they can afford to sub him this week. So I think he's definitely in for 80. And then moving forward, it's just whether they use a sub on the second row for him or whether they just use 2 more subs through the middles and Horsburgh and Taps take a bit of a decline in minutes when Hudson Young's back.
Yeah, I think Austin's good. I feel like I'm being a bit of a snob when I look at my second row forwards being like, is it worth bringing in a Hosking who doesn't feel like a keeper or something like that? But maybe I'm thinking about it the wrong way. I think he's a good number. He's going to play good minutes in 2 of the majors and probably some of the mini bye weeks, depending on the role of like Hudson Young and when Sasungi's back and Noah Martin, etc., etc. But maybe he'll get some points. He'll make solid enough cash, and then he's just a gateway to
enough, really.
Or a Homole or a whatever it looks like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's decent. I think he's a good player.
And to give you a little bit more credit, and not to be rude, but when I see Lecker in your team, bringing in Hosking doesn't.
Oh, Hosking's better than Lecker.
No, but I'm just saying it doesn't possibly fill me with as much confidence as I'd like. Maybe you want to look to more of a keeper in that sort of a position.
Yeah. For those of us without Lecker, I think Elite's saying, like you have your Lecker who will do that Hosking sort of job and eventually maybe be enough.
Right, you're saying if I have two of them, that's yeah.
It's not really worrying because of the logic sort of side, but I guess emotionally when you look at Lecker in your team, for me, it doesn't really look very confident. But
correct.
For sure he could do well. And I think there's every chance that Lecker moves to the left this week to accommodate Ban on the right.
Yeah, it's whatever. He's just there to play the buy rounds anyway.
I mean, I think he could easily get 100 one of these buy rounds.
That's the hope.
In which case he's running between Hamish Stewart and Jaden Sewer.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, even if I did bring in Hosking, it would be like, I mean, one of them goes down to enough. The other one goes up to a big dog. So, yeah. Yeah. All right.
I have Sir Oliver Pascoe this week. Now, pre our conversation this morning, we always love a quick chat before the podcast.
We love a yarn.
Quick is not the word I should use.
Not quick, though.
Definitely not.
But yes, I think for me, obviously, I think he's sort of now around a 3 or a 4. I was super keen on him, but I think Dan made a great point. Storm's buy coverage is elite for people playing Origin. So obviously they cover 18 only, is it? No, 12 only.
12 only.
Which just means that they burn 2 of their buys when Harry Grant isn't playing anyway. So the only real week you'd need a definite hooker number for would be the Storm's buy in 25. And I think you've got a long time to work that out. Maybe Brayley has a couple of good matchups to end the year and you just flip him to Brayley or something like that. Or you just don't bother burning the trade and you use him as a VC loop that week. I can't envision myself playing the cheese unless I have to.
Yes, the cheese.
I just don't think there's a need. I don't think there's a world where I play Ollie Pascoe week to week. I think the only benefit to having him would be him as a gateway to Brayley. That's the only good point. But even then, I don't know. I don't think I need 2 hookers in my 20. So, yeah, I think he's probably a 3 or a 4.
Yeah, you're probably right. He's a little bit of unnecessary depth, but I think he just looks really, really good. Like his base is super high. He runs the ball. He's going to find attacking stats. So that's probably where the conjecture lies, where it's like you don't really need him for depth. He's kind of good over the Origin period, but then Harry Grant, obviously, you just play him every week. So it's like, is he just going to take up a bench spot? And then you don't want to burn too many trades there, nothing him out again. So it's like, that's probably where it lies. But I think he is in the conversation because he is that good.
Yeah, he does look great.
Yeah, his base power has been insane. Like, I'm not going to take that away from him, but I just think I don't need the extra number at hooker. Some people might.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
I think it's a great number this week if you need a number, like as we'll get onto with people's trades. Yeah. And I think he'll make decent bit of money. So yeah, if you want to go with him to another hooker, or he just makes a bunch of cash when you nuff out, that's pretty fair.
Yep.
Awesome. I mean, if you'd done it last week, it would have felt unbelievable. This week, I do just think it feels a tad worse.
You have to find money as well to go up from a Nuff or a Benaniah Ulu or a
cheese.
Or a cheese, yeah.
It's like 160k from cheese to him.
Yeah, so that
which
just feels a bit
not
ridiculous, yeah. Moving back down the line, my sell is James Tedesco. I'm going to put him at like a 6. I don't think you have to do it. You can definitely afford to hold him through Origin, but off the back of a 20, and given he will be that starting number 1 for New South Wales, I think there's a real world you sell him. It's going to be a scary watch for some weeks, but I think about it like this. If I can get a Jaden Campbell, for example, or someone like that who's going to play 2 major buys where Teddy won't, I think overall, if you look at the average across all those weeks, it's definitely worth it. So it's going to be a bit of a scary watch, but I think he's not going to be at his best if he has to play 80 minutes for the Blues and then back up. Like they never are quite at their best. So I think it's a scary watch, but I think he's probably the one I'd let go of at the moment.
Yeah, I'm heavily tossing up a Teddy Cell, to be honest. I just think I like the thought of using that flex spot for its actual intent of like being flexible. Yeah. And not just being like, I've got these 3 fullbacks who I'm locked and married to the entire time. Like we've talked about Jaden Campbell. I think there's a world to bring him in, and then eventually when he gets 5'8", move that in. I think there's a world where, I don't know, you bring in, obviously the possibilities with flex are theoretically endless. So I just think there's a window there to cut him out. I think I could see myself doing it if the right opportunity presents itself.
I think that's JC for me this week because I don't have numbers and I want a captaincy option. Maybe not so much for you, Dan, because I know you're sort of flush with your numbers, but given that I probably want to go Nico eventually, things like that, I think having triple halfback until JC gets that duel is not the worst thing in the world. So,
Yeah, cool. I probably stand similarly with selling to Tedesco just because of the cash he's going to leak. And then I just want to be aggressive and try to make certain plays over this Origin
That's
period
also
just
what I'm
to
thinking,
try to gain rank. Like, we're sitting at like 20, 30K pretty much. Sorry, 27 to 30K. And it's just like...
It's time to have a stab.
Really just need to have a stab. Don't want to die not knowing and just trying to cruise my way to up the ranks. I don't think that's going to be the way to do it.
I think it's a good antipod.
Yeah.
Cool.
On to me. Little Willie. Xavier Willison.
Not so little Willie.
Not so little Willie. I think he's still on... when I look down at the highest sold players that are in my team, he's up there on my supercoach. I think the break-even is still relatively high. Unfortunately, he's going to be probably playing Edge next week and the week after, I'd say. But for me, he's not a sell because that's not why I got him. I got him for buy round cover in 15 and 18 and when he's going to play that big minute role through at lock probably. So I'm still keen to hold him through, to be honest. Unfortunately, he's probably first cap off the rank if I needed to sell a front row or second row. But yeah, as you'll find out, I'm not going to be doing that because I have another random guy I'm going to sell and bring in and whatnot. But in terms of that, I'd put a number at like... I think I'd put it at a 4. If you need to do it, you can do it, but I think you should hold him if you got him because you got him for a certain reason, and that reason hasn't presented itself or hasn't come into fruition yet.
I agree.
I think
he's good buy coverage.
Good cover, and if you don't need him to play in your minis or anything like that, then he's absolutely fine. If he's your front row forward 3 or your second row forward 5, 4 or 5, then I think that's fine.
Do we agree that he's not as good at second row?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep. Cool.
I will quickly, just to go back to my Teddy shout, 16% of the top 10% are trading him out this week. So I think everyone's sort of on the same page.
That's huge. I wonder who they're going to,
Really
though.
interesting.
Brandon Smith, 18% traded out this week.
Well, yeah, that's just people going...
And Latrell Mitchell, 24%. So it looks like a lot of people must have held Latrell. But if we look at popular trades, Tamari Martin, nearly 30% of all top 10% are doing it.
To be honest.
26% are doing Ollie Pascoe. 13% Joe Tarpany. A lot of Jackson forwards floating around. And then Drinkwater.
Yeah, I think it's just,
by 10%. So I'm
base.
guessing that's probably who they're going. Teddy to Drinkwater.
Fair. Alrighty, my sell. I'm just going to talk quickly about Casey McLean. I feel like I've had Casey McLean as a sell for like 4 weeks. Not consecutively, but total. I just think I don't think he's a keeper. I think if I want a Penrith left-sided centre/wing, I'm just going to bring in Tom Jenkins later.
Yeah.
I can see myself going Casey to someone. Their draw's not even that great over this period for me to like want to hold him. Let me have a look. I remember it not being spectacular. So they go Warriors next week. Then they go Tigers. That's right. I remember looking at this now. And they go 15 bye, but then they go Titans, Cowboys, Souths in 16, 17, 18.
So obviously he's got New Zealand next week, round 13. Cleary should back up for that given that Wires are coming second. Then you've got 14 with the West Tigers where Cleary will play. So it'll be a pretty complete Penrith team for those two. 16, there's a chance Cleary doesn't back up. They've got the Gold Coast Titans though, and if Cleary doesn't play, Blaze Talangi will no doubt take a rugby league stance and push all the action down that left edge. So I think he's a great option there. 17, Cleary will play against North Queensland. Obviously a great matchup there for a complete Penrith team. They could easily put 50 points on both the Titans and the Cowboys on their day. Now, 18 out of South Sydney is likely to be in Origin, so I wouldn't worry too much about that, and then has the round 19 bye. So really you're missing out on 15, 18, and 19 with Casey McLean, of which they only play one of those weeks. So for that reason, I don't know if he's a sell. And then you obviously have him for the run home, in which period they have some okay matchups and some rough ones. Like they have Broncos in 20, which will probably be hard because Broncos have most of the men back by then. But then they've got Parramatta in 21. They've got the Bulldogs in 26 and the Tigers in 27. Also got like your Sydney Roosters, your Canberra, a few other teams sprinkled in there that are probably pretty beatable. I just think for that reason, you might as well just hold him. I'm not seeing a better option at this moment. I understand the Jenkins shout, but I think there's a world you could maybe even consider both for a bit if the Panthers are absolutely ripping and tearing.
Yeah, fair. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe I'm being too harsh on Casey. Anyways, Panic buys and sells done for the week. Let's move into our trades and captain plans. My first trade will definitely be Taylor May to Christian Tuipulotu. Talking about Christian for 2 weeks, and I want him in. He's looking good. People talk about Val for an extra 120k. I mean, I just don't think I can do that. I don't think I can do that. And B, I think Christian Tuipulotu looks as good, if not better. I think his base is really good. His tackle busting's looking good. I think he's in a great spot to score tries. If anyone's going to score tries, I think it's probably that Dragons left wing.
Yeah.
I like him. I think he's going to end up being my probably 7th center wing for the rest of the year now.
I just think back to the start of last year when Tuipulotu and
it was hot.
Gutherson had that link up. I mean, I don't think they're going to go quite on the run that they went last year, but
I don't think it's...
I could see him averaging 60 pretty easily.
Yep.
So.
Now, the rest of them, what's going to happen... Because with bringing in Tuipulotu for May, I already have 13 blokes, even with Herbie injured, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yep. So I don't actually need to bring in anyone, but I could. So I'm looking at... There's the safe option of just going Mono, Leilua to Hosking. There's what I'm now weighing up in my head is I sell Teddy and I just have a crack. I bring in one of Alex Johnston, Jermaine Asako, just one of these big dogs who's got a good buy coverage and just could go off on any day. Look at Alex Johnston's numbers before. Jeez, they're good. I mean, he has to score tries, but he always scores tries, so it's basically irrelevant.
With the better Trell though, I could score tries outside Trell. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you mean Seagwald?
No, that's not the better trail.
Well, he's still got... What was the game where Seagwald played? Was it this game against Newcastle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's still.
Or was it
picked
this
up a
game
try.
against the Sharks or whatever?
It was Sharks.
We got a hat-trick.
Yeah.
No, that was last week Latrell played. It was the week before.
No, that because AJ didn't play last week. So yeah,
Oh,
it was
it was.
genuinely the Sharks.
So we got a hat-trick with Latrell Seagwalds inside of him.
Yeah.
So I think it's basically just he scores tries. Try scorers score tries.
Yep. He is so expensive though.
Yeah, he's expensive, but he's cheaper than Teddy.
That's true. This is true.
I don't know. I just think everyone's going to be scared of him.
Because of the price, yeah.
Because of the price. And it may not be AJ, but
It's an
someone who plays in 12, ideally 12 and 15, but just 12 at least, who I can take a flyer on for Teddy. I reckon I could easily do that. And maybe I could do 3 trades. I could do Hosking if I like him enough by looking at more stats and a Teddy down.
Yep.
But at the very least, it will be Tuipulotu win. And captains, I mean, if I bring in AJ, I'm going to chuck a VC on him. Oh, wait, they played last game. I don't know, maybe. But let's say I just do Tuipulotu. It'll be VC Sewer, captain Jackson Ford. Although I was looking at Finefa Uyaki.
Honestly, it's not even the worst shot.
But yeah, Sewer and Ford.
Nice.
Now the big one.
All right. This is going to be a story time and a half. But basically, I will have to take you back to last week. I told you and ill-informed you all that I was going Bostock. I then flipped on Friday night to Greg the Leg Marju and rode that one out, even through that sort of injury scare on Saturday, I believe it was. And then he knocked up a nice little 50 for me. So that was good. But I'm happy to have him through the minor buy sort of period, and I know he has a great run, so I'm more than happy to have him on that left wing. But that did leave me with needing to make 3 trades this week, at least. So then that would have gotten me my 13. I was going to do, and still will do these 3. Taylor May for Bostock, someone for Christian Tuipulotu. I do forget who that is. Cobbo. So Cobbo got selected for Origin for Christian Tuipulotu. And then my final trade was
Zach
going to
Hosking.
be Zach Hosking for someone else as well.
Whip the phone out, buddy.
Whip the phone out, buddy.
Anyway, you can continue your story.
He's almost there. It's all good.
That was those were my 3. I was getting rid of
Flegler, was it?
Fleggy. Yeah, so Flegler got that shock pick in Origin, so he's just gone from my team. Thank goodness. And then now Herbie obviously got ruled out, or is ruled out. So I'm looking to make a 4th trade and using my last boost for the season. Someone on this table thinks that's a bit punchy, a bit rogue potentially. But I'm more than happy to do it. I've looked at my numbers for 15 minor buys, 18. They're looking pretty good. If all goes to my way, I'm only going to need to make max 2 trades in the next 2 weeks, and then hopefully none for 15. But obviously, we don't live in a perfect world, but that is the idea. And so hopefully I can make back those trades now. That does leave me at 19 trades total for the rest of the season, which is very, very, very scary. And then so onto that boost trade, I'm bringing in Ollie Pascoe for Brandon Smith. We've thought about it logically, and I may not even be playing him that much in the end, back into the year. But I think he's got potential, and the numbers are just good enough for me, and he gives me good enough buy coverage. It is a bit contentious bringing him in with a buy this week.
Next week.
With a buy this week.
Oh.
Cooper buy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's a Davo classic. So my dad shot that one at me yesterday, and I promised him I'd bring it up on the potty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good one, lads.
So can you just say like
It was good.
can you just say for me like the 4 players you're selling into the 4 players you're bringing in? Just
All
so I
right.
have, like the complete picture. In one.
No worries. Brandon Smith is going. Cobbo's going. Flegler's going. Taylor May's going.
4.
Christian Tuipulotu, Bostock, Hosking, Ollie Pascoe.
Okay. I mean, when you say it, it does sound like you're selling 4 stinkers for 4 good players.
Yeah.
So
It feels good.
okay.
And then moving on to your VC and captain.
It'll just be Sewer into Jaden Campbell.
Nice.
I'm liking the matchup with against Manly with that debutant, I think, on the second row, and then in the centres as well.
Nice.
Hopefully it's a bounce back game for the King.
Cool.
All right. Now, I myself needed to make 3 trades this week with Herbie being ruled out. Now, I
Have a couple options.
yes, I have a lot,
How did I know that was coming?
but I am settled on 3 trades.
Okay.
So I'm going a bit punchy, and I'd like to preface it by saying this might not work for everyone's team, but I have a plan in mind, and in so I have gone pretty punchy. So Simi Sasungi, James Tedesco, and Francis Manu-Lalea out. Now I had close to 300k in the bank from last week, so I'm just looking to stockpile even more because the end goal, I'll spoil it for next week, is to go Ethan Sanders to Nico Hines. So Ethan Sanders has a 9 break even. I'm factoring in he'll probably get between 50 and 70, which means I'll probably need to find about...
Jeez. That just sounds like a big score. I haven't looked at Sanders. What if he's been hitting that, to be fair? That just sounds like a large score.
I mean, yeah, 50 to 70. I'm giving myself a bit of wiggle room.
Do you need him to score
I
something?
don't need him to score anything.
Okay.
But, or actually, that's a lie. I need him to score like 20
Okay. That's
to make it affordable. But yeah,
unless your name's Daniel Atkinson, that's a pretty low bar.
so obviously that's, I'm pretty sure his break even's 9, so he's going to struggle to not get that.
Yeah.
And then the punchiness. So I'm going Fine Filiaki. I've loved the fella, but I thought Origin was just too scary. And he didn't get picked. And I was like, yes, come on. But obviously there's the threat around him coming in for the round 15, like in round 15 for Origin 2, if Queensland do lose. So it's in the back of my mind, but I think he's got 113 break even. I reckon he can get 140 against the edge he's playing against. So you've got Ethan Sanders, not a known defender.
Is it Hosking on that edge or is it Mariota?
No, it's Mariota.
We know it's Mariota left edge.
It will be.
Because I mean that's a game changer.
Yeah.
If he is, I might VC him on.
Yeah,
like,
I've strongly been considering it. But
because Hosking's actually quite a good defender. Mariota is a prop playing on the edge.
yeah. Well, from the Simi versus Mariota debate, Mariota played on the left, and I'd imagine Hosking, who has played on the right before, would be happy to play on the right.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that there's points to be had there.
There's
so
points.
I'm going punchy, even with the huge break even. We brought it up in our like round 10 review, how something I've been trying to work on is not being scared by break evens, and I think this is one that could easily be reached.
Yeah,
on
I
his
like
day.
it. I like it.
So I've got him. I've got Jaden Campbell. I think Manly, looking at their team, they look pretty poor. They're losing the 2 people on their team that's been trying the hardest in Hamole and Kohler to Origin. Lehigh's out. They're basically running a New South Wales Cup side at this point, bar the halves, really. I mean, Luke Brooks is nothing to rave about, but he'd kill it in Cup. So you've got Jamal Fogarty and Luke Brooks. That's about all that's holding this team together. And I just think Jaden Campbell could give him an absolute bloodbath. The Titans find days where they just put 50 on teams, and I'm hoping this is one. And then my final trade, I really like the look of Zach Hosking. I was debating a Corey Horsburgh, who I was really keen on, just given his scores and his minute role during Origin buys. But I think for me, Hosking's just the better play. Firstly, it gives me more money to afford Nico, and secondly, I think I don't need to play him next week, so there's no point spending an extra 100k and getting Horsburgh, who I'm just gonna sit next week anyway. So that's sort of my thoughts around that. So it'll be Hosking, Fine Fuiaki, and Jaden Campbell coming in, Sasangi, Francis Manu-Lalea, and James Tedesco going out. So
Cool.
and then obviously VC and captain. At this stage, it's Sua Falongo, Jaden Campbell, but I really want to take some punts. I'd love to take a punt on Jackson Ford. I'd love to take a punt on Fine Fuiaki. I mean, I'm in a bit of rugby league shambles, but at this stage, it's going to be Sua into JC. Although I am strongly considering VCing our boy, Fine Fuiaki, who I can officially say is our boy now.
Yeah, enjoy, mate. It's a good time. Apart from the last 2 weeks when he was rubbish.
I'm keen for him just to drop the ball virtually over the line again when he's through a gap.
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
My thinking is he's just a season keeper, because even on his worst days, like when I say worst,
60.
not D-Day, but most of the time it's just 60. 60 to 70 if he doesn't score. I'm happy with that.
Fantastic. Consensus team. We are going for Trey Mooney out, Makasini out, and Tedesco out. We're taking a swing. We are bringing in Jackson Ford, Christian Tuipulotu, and Jaden Campbell. Again, with an eye of you just kind of find a way to work Jaden Campbell into your team. And as soon as he gets 5'8" dual, you dump him there. Fantastico.
VC and captain for the consensus. I think we're maybe tossing up Sua into Campbell.
I can't remember what I had of those anymore.
Yeah, we'll just say Sua into Campbell.
Sua Campbell sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Awesome. Wrap up with some tips.
I've got him here, Ben.
Oh.
Raiders versus the Dolphins. I am going to go Raiders 1-12.
Finns 1-12.
Finns 13 plus.
Jeez Louise.
There.
Bloodbath.
Yeah, Finns don't really win 1-12, eh? Can I actually switch to 13 plus
You may.
Sure.
on cam?
Yeah.
Granted permission?
Yeah, man.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Bulldogs versus Melbourne. Can someone tell me why the Dogs are $1.65?
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know Storm are missing Munster and Grand, but like the Dogs.
don't forget their best player, Trent Liero, who's been
Yes.
struggling to make the starting.
But
side.
also the Dogs don't have Crichton.
Yeah, they do have a more complete team, I would say. I don't mind them being favourites, but I think $1.60 is a bit low.
But the Dogs' complete team is still bad.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yes.
I think
They won like 3 games.
I think it should be like $1.80, maybe $2.15 or $2.20. I think that's probably fair for the Dogs.
Oh,
I think they
$1.90
should be. They should be slight favourites, just given the Storm's outs and the fact that they're running a bloke who I've never even heard the name of at 5'8".
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going Melbourne 13 plus.
I'll take Melbourne 1-12.
Melbourne 13 plus.
I could see Jerome Hughes running an absolute train.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I was looking at Lasardi as a VC option. Like, you could definitely do that, bro. You could definitely do that, bro.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, do that.
Bro,
do that.
he could get 400 outside Jerome Hughes.
I doubt it. But I mean, hey, now I've said it. He may well do it.
Nah, I'm gonna go Melbourne 1-12.
This is gonna be like that week you said, "Oh, Dufty for a VC." Or whatever he said.
Bro,
We're going to come
are
back
you
to this
telling me
moment.
that Jerome Hughes is not going to get every bit of pill and just short ball it?
He may not short ball every single pill, though.
No. But he will be the dominant ball player, and that's going to benefit Lasardi, right?
Fair enough.
He scored one try and got 100 and whatever the other week.
I guess. What did you tip again, sorry?
Melbourne 1-12.
Right, cool. St. George versus New Zealand. I am now making a campaign where I'm going to tip Dragons 1-12 every single week until that happens.
Okay.
So Dragons 1-12.
Oh,
New Zealand 13 plus.
he's throwing the tipping comp out the
Hey,
window.
mate, it might happen. That's strata. Chaos.
I'm also going New Zealand 13 plus. If there was an option for 20 plus, I might even opt for that.
Well, hey, listen, you all laughed at me, or are laughing. But we'll see. We'll see. Manly versus the Titans. Jeez, Titans are big outsiders.
I can't believe it, eh?
I guess it's Fosball. Fosball's been doing good things.
That's value, surely.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm going to go Manly 1-12. I like Clayton.
Clayton Fowler.
Fair enough. I'm going Titans 13 plus.
Yeah, I'm also going Titans 13 plus.
Is there any chance that's biased by Jaden Campbell ownership?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Probably, but
Cool.
that's all right.
Final game of the round, Cowboys versus the Bunnies. Another one of the teams I hate to tip on is the Bunnies. I am going to go I actually have no idea.
Go into the dark side.
What's the dark side?
Go into the bunnies.
You think the bunnies are the dark side?
Yeah.
I think the bunnies. Oh, they don't have Cam Murray. Oh, sorry, my apologies. Cowboys 112. I think they'll still pull up a fight.
I think Cowboys win 1-12. Yeah.
I'm going Cowboys 13+. I think they could obliterate this bunny.
I think that's valid. Fantastic. That's us done for the week.
Big ups, Cody Walker owners, eh? Going to be a big stint from him.
You'd hope so.
7 penalties conceded.
You'd hope so. We forgot to ask you if Cody Walker was a season keeper or not.
No. I want to get rid of him, bro. He's got to go.
Jaden Campbell comes, Cody Walker sells, Campbell down, Cleary back into something like that.
You gotta wait till 18. It's a long time to hide Campbell, but you're gonna have to do it, aren't you?
I think it's okay.
Anyways. Hide Walker or hide Campbell?
Or both.
Yeah, right.
Awesome. I do not think there's a real world with no Latrell Mitchell. I would even put a reserve on Cody Walker unless D-Day happens.
Yeah.
I might even opt to not play him in the bye weeks just because I wouldn't want the pain.
We say this, though, and then he'll get some stupid 120 or something like that.
Facts.
He'll turn into the goat.
Obviously joking, but it must be so hard as an owner just to sort of see him 1 week pump out a huge score and then get like...
Yeah, and probably, honestly, the road to the final straw was that Newcastle game where he like scores a double and sets up a try.
Gets 70.
2 tries and assist and gets like 70.
His average is way further down than I thought it was.
Yeah, it's tanked. Tanked off the back of last game, especially.
Still above Fletcher Sharp, though. Anyway, that'll do us for the week, everybody. Best of luck with your buy coverage. I think if you have 12, that's okay, but obviously 13 is ideal. And if you have more, good bonus.
You want 12 strong players.
12 strongs.
Which, in Elliot's case, I don't think Tui Pelotu is like a...
Excuse me. Tui Pelotu's got
right.
81
And he
last week.
tears his hamstring on the weekend for the 4,000th time.
You would know. You held him for 8 weeks with a torn hamstring.
I did. I know the pain. That's why I'm saying be careful.
Yeah, cool. Alrighty, guys. Best of luck. Have a good week, and may your arrows be green.
Oh, what a classic.
Love it.